So how do you make a gear? So you can use some software called Gear Generator to do some initial designs, and that's what we're going to do today. Here's the gear generator showing a 12-tooth gear and a 17-tooth gear. We're going to design this first one right here. We're going to do that in SketchUp. You can see that I'm already printing one of these gears. Maybe we can check on it throughout this. You can see the gear right here. Let's see where we are at the end. We're going to use SketchUp to design the gear. So let's get started. So right here, you can see that the first thing we're going to do is log into SketchUp. I've already done that right there. I'm going to say File, New to make a new one, so to start over from scratch. Next thing you're going to do is introduce or adjust the unit so that the model info says millimeters. So let's go ahead and save this other one right there, one I was working on previously. And we're making a new one here, so let's see if we can get into that. What you want to do, first of all, is erase the person over there to the right-hand side. Go down here to the info icon as it says here, and adjust the units from architectural down to millimeters. Then you click the eye icon again, and it will hide it. You can click on this to hide the tags. What you're going to do next is draw a 24-sided polygon. And the reason we do that is because if we're going to make 12 teeth around here, we need a space for both the tooth and the gap. So that's why we need 24. So to locate the polygon tool, it might be underneath the triple dots here. I already see it right here. And you can see it starts off with normally like a six-sided. So if you type in 6 right there and hit enter, you'll see that I'm going to draw a six-sided polygon, but we want a 24-sided. So I hit 24, enter. It almost looks like a circle. When you come out here, you can see a little bit of the flat-sided areas of that polygon. Now we want this polygon to be, as you see over here, 9.25. So we're going to type that in. See how big this is down here? We don't want it to be that big. Let's do 9.35. And you can probably type mm, but you may not need to because it's already in millimeter units. Now this polygon is really small, but what we're going to do is go down to this zoom feature right here, and you can find that under the triple dot, and maybe even orbit down a little bit like this so you can see the 24 sides. Now let's see if we've all done all of that. Yep, we've done all of those steps. Now we're going to make two more polygons. So since we have a polygon tool already here, we can see that already it's in 24-sided mode. I'm just going to make sure that vertex is along the red axis, click, and then I'm going to type in the units of 10.8 and hit enter. And I guess it already automatically put it in millimeters, which is awesome. We're going to go out here, make another one, click here, and then type in 11.96. You might notice that this distance right here is a little bit bigger than that distance right there. And that's true anytime you're looking at a gear design. You can see this distance here. If I can stop it, this distance here is longer than that one. Okay, so we're going to use these segments here to make tooth. So how are we going to do that? We're going to first of all draw two lines radial. So let me orbit down like this, get a closer look, and I'm going to draw two lines here. 1, 2. That's part of the tooth, and then I'm going to do two more, like so. And so I've done 4 lines in total, and now I'm going to erase the outer 2 lines using the eraser tool. Now we just have to see one tooth. It looks kind of odd, so we really want to reshape the outside of this. So let's use the resize tool. So you're going to use the selection tool to select this one. Make sure that line is blue. And then what you're going to do is use the rescale tool or the scale tool. And you want to hold down the control keys because you want it to make it symmetric. If you do it like this, it doesn't do it right. So what you want to do, I hit Control Z there to undo what I did, is hold the Control T key down, and you can see now that it changes the shape symmetrically. Now you can see the scale down here at the bottom, and what we want to do is scale it so that it is 0.35 times. So after I've let go of my keyboard and my mouse, I'm just going to go over here and type in 0.53, and it scaled it down to 0.53 times its original size. Now what we're going to do is select this background. That kind of looks odd in the background over here. Let's use the selection tool, double click here. This is what it's supposed to look like in the background. Then we're going to right click and say Find Center. Now I want you to pay attention to the center right here, because when I hit Find Center, it puts a tiny little black dot right there. That's going to help us for rotating this tooth all the way around and making multiple copies. So what we're going to do is now double click on each one of these using Control. So we're going to hold the Control key down. Well, actually, we need to select this first one. So we don't want to include that one. So Control, double click, double click. Now we have that selected. And now what we're going to do is use the Rotate tool, which is located right here, and we're going to rotate about the origin. So we're going to pick one point on that tooth, and now you can see that you can rotate it around. Now we want to really leave a copy behind. So what we're going to do over here is use the Control key, and it will leave a copy behind. So notice that if I'm moving around like this and I hit the Control key one time and release, I got to get back on this window here. Control key, it left a copy behind, and I want to go all the way over until this side right here lines up with the red axis. And we want to make multiple copies of that. We could continue that process, or we can just say times 12, and you'll see it appear down here when I do this. I'm not going to click anywhere else. Times 12 and hit enter. Now it looks like I was on the wrong screen when I did that. So let me go make sure I'm on this one over here. I'm going to do times 12, and you see it made 12 copies of it all the way around. Now you can see it down here at the bottom. Even though it says angle, it's really making 12 copies of that original. So that's what we just did right there. Now what we're going to do is erase these lines that separate the tooth from the rest of the part. That way, when we extrude it, these teeth will be part of the extrusion. So you're just clicking here, dragging across, and erasing each time. And I'm going to get those out there as well, all the way around. There might be an easier way to do all of that, but there's only 12 of them, so that's not too bad. What are we going to do next? Well, we need to have a hole for the axis to go through. And I think we're seeing that formed already. Actually, it's already complete, but you can't really see it very well. Let's go back to the prepare. You can see this is the gear that we're working on right here. So we need a hole there in the center. If you want to get really fancy, you can put a chamfer right there. We will put slices around here or holes in there to kind of reduce the amount of material that we need. I want to make it look more like this one over here, though. So let's begin that process by first putting a 0.29 millimeter hole in the middle. So you need a circle, and we're going to, I guess, click right there and then type in 2.9 so that it resizes it. What you can do then is use the selection tool and click on that shape in the middle and hit the delete key, and it punches that shape out as you see here. What we're going to do next is make those inner areas that we want to punch out as well to kind of save some material, although the strength is going to be not affected very much. So let's make two more circles, one with 4 millimeter radius, the other one with 8 millimeter here. And let's see, that's snapped into 4 millimeters. That's nice. You could type 4 millimeters if you want to, but I'm seeing those numbers change. So I'm just going to try to snap it into 8 millimeters right there. So did I just select a circle? I did. I was supposed to select a polygon, but you can see that even a circle turns out to be a polygon with lots of shapes. But if we want to do it properly, we go back over here, click here, make sure we snap it to 4 millimeters here, and then do another one over there. So with that, my little mistake there, you learned that even a circle in CAD software is basically a polygon with lots of facets or flat surfaces on it. So now we're going to draw some radial lines so we can perform the cut of these little pie sections out of the gear. I think I'm going to make probably 4 holes in this. So we want to be careful about where we draw these lines. I try to make it a little bit easy to see where you're going to take a line and go just to the left of this green one and just slice out one segment right there. And then count over, I think, 5 segments. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as it says right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to draw all the way back to there, not all the way to the center, rather. Let's see, does that look right? I think so. So what are we gonna do next? Well, we need to select that shape and make some copies of it. We could go around here and do all the, counting and shape and drawing of these radial lines. Let's do like we did before. Let's just double click that area. We're going to use the rotate tool. Click here and go here. Now, if you rotate around, you can put this anywhere, but if you hit the control key once and release it, you're making a copy. Now we want to make a copy just one segment past where the other one is, right here, and we want 4 copies. So what do we do in this case? We type in times 4. So times 4 gives me 4 copies. Oops, I was on the wrong screen, so it went back to the other one. Let me go back over here. Up. Let's go all the way back over here till it gets to the 4. And then I was supposed to be on this screen right over here. We've already done the 12. And now we're going to do the times 4. So I need to click here and let's see if I do times 4, if it'll do it properly now. Yeah. So we double click on one of the shapes. And I guess we could select all of them like that, but I don't think it's going to, yeah, it doesn't help us delete it properly. So what we're going to have to do instead is click on each shape separately and use the delete key to punch out those shapes. So there is 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next thing we're going to do is erase these 2 lines that are right here, because if we try to extrude it right now, it's just going to extrude probably just the ring by itself, or maybe this part out here, but we want it to extrude the whole thing. So we're going to use the eraser tool like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and then we're just going to extrude it up 2 millimeters. 1, 2. You can see that size down here at the bottom. 1, 2. And then we're going to save that. Let's go ahead and save it as SFA, or maybe something like STEM 3 here. Okay, and as you see right there, you can print out this object. Now, what you would do normally is you would say File, Export, and you would export it as an STL file normally. Maybe it's download. There it is right there. So you would download this as an STL file. Notice I saved it over here. Let's see what directory it's going to be in. Look, it's under the downloads. So if I'm in my 3D printing software, what I can do is just make another plate over here and see if that STL file can be imported in. So there's the icon up there for importing. I had it under downloads, probably right here, and it is right there. Let's see how that looks. Looks pretty good. And you can probably see that mine is a little bit thinner than the other one. So you could change the thickness if you want to. I think this one's more like 3 millimeters over here, maybe even twice that much. Let's see what that is. So how would we adjust that? Well, what we would do is go back over here into the gear software that we were making, or that being SketchUp, and then just raise it up 2 more like that. So I added 2 to that, and now I can hit save again and then export it, or download, in this case, STL file. So an STL file is the very common file format that is used by 3D printing software. And so now if I import it in here and pull in the second gear that I just made, you can see that that one is actually taller than the other one. So that's how you design something in CAD and then import it into 3D printing software. Now there's other software that we can use as well. Let's see if I got Cura here that we can use. Cura, there it is. So let me pause the video while that's loading and show you how to print using Cura in case you're using a different 3D printer. All right, so here's the Elegoo software. You just want to hit the open file option and then go over here to downloads where we had downloaded that file previously. And here it is. And so in this case, what you would do is slice up this into multiple pieces. And I understand that some folks are going to be using a FlashForge Adventure 3C printer. So I'll show you that you could use either Elegoo to do this one, or I'm sorry, Cura. Elegoo is the type of printer, but you can use Cura as I'm doing here. You slice it up into multiple pieces. If you look at a preview of it, what you can do is see how it's going to print it out on your print bed. Now, because someone was interested in FlashForge Adventure 3C printers, I also downloaded FlashPrint, which is used for that. I selected the printer of FlashForge Adventure 3 series. And if I go up here to File, Load File, and then go underneath my Downloads directory, load that one up here, and it looks like it's the same process. So let me pause the video and see if I can give you more instructions on this particular software. So it looks like the next step here is going to be slice this object up. This is a typical nozzle size is 0.4 millimeters. And let's go ahead and slice it up into layers like I did the other one. It might even let us look at the different layers. Slice preview kind of shows the different layers right there. And normally what you do is you either send it directly over to the printer itself, or what you can do is download it and put it on a USB drive or SD drive, insert that into the front of the printer, and then print from there. You see that here's the print head. I wonder if there's a way to kind of go through the layers. Yeah, there you go. You see the printer tip there, laying out the layers. And I guess this is the support here. You may not need those in most cases. In fact, with bamboo printers, you don't even need any kind of supports or raft or anything like that. I hope that helps get you started in designing gears and also 3D printing them. What we'll do next is design a 17 tooth gear, going back to our original object right here. Okay, so that we're not making this video too long, I'm going to make the 17 tooth gear and the frame on another video. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.